I still remember the exact moment they told me I wasn't creative enough. It was a Monday morning in late September, and I dragged myself into the office 10 minutes late, as usual, holding a half-burned latte and a crumpled notebook overflowing with half-finished poems and story arcs no one wanted to read. My boss, Miranda, stood by the window of our tiny marketing bullpen, arms folded, staring out at the first golden leaves of autumn drifting in the breeze. "Sit down, Jess," she said without turning, voice cool. I perched on the edge of my squeaky chair. My heart kicked against my ribs. She turned, pinched the bridge of her nose. "I've looked over your last 3 campaign drafts. Frankly, they're flat, safe. You're trying too hard, maybe. I don't know. But you're not creative enough for this team." I blinked. "Not creative enough?" She nodded. "We need ideas that leap off the page. You're doing your best. I get it. But you're just not there. We need someone with imagination." I scraped my chair back, breath catching. "What am I supposed to do?" I whispered. She sighed. "Maybe consider a role more suited to execution. You know, operations or analytics, something you can learn." I swallowed, nodded. "Okay." I left her office feeling the color drain from my cheeks. Outside, the elevator dinged open. My co-workers tumbled out, animated about last night's football game, oblivious to my world crumbling. That evening, I sat alone at my kitchen table, the only light from my laptop screen. My notebook lay open, empty circles where words once flowed. I tapped the pen, stared at the blank page. On the floor, my cat, Patton, wound around my ankles, purring. "Not creative enough," I murmured to him. "That's the verdict." I scrolled through my social feeds. Everywhere I looked, artful marketing campaigns, viral tweets, polished designers sharing whimsical spot illustrations. I felt like an imposter, a faker who'd somehow slipped into a job asking for magic and only delivering the mundane. My friend Mara texted, "Want to get out? Wine at mine." I typed back, "Can't." My house was the only place I felt safe, even if it had become a tomb of abandoned projects. Then a wild thought struck me. What if I proved them wrong? Secretly, I could create under an alias, send in ideas no one would trace back to Jessica Carter. If they actually worked, maybe I'd have the proof I needed. I opened a new email window. With shaking fingers, I typed asterisk to creativitychampion@megacorp.com. Subject: Submission for Innovate or Die, Campaign Contest. Please find attached my entry. Submitted under the pen name, asterisk asterisk, Rowan Ashford, asterisk asterisk. Thank you for your consideration. Rowan Ashford, I whispered. The name felt strong, unburdened by my insecurities. I attached a PDF, 5 slides outlining a guerrilla-style pop-up campaign, interactive VR teasers, and a cheeky, maybe even risky, social media flash mob idea that would flood the city square with living art. I hit send. Moments later, the cold glow of my inbox offered no confirmation, but my stomach fluttered. I'd done it. No one knew Rowan. Rowan had guts. Over the next week, I put on a different hat. Each morning, I brewed 2 cups of coffee, one for me, one for Rowan. I'd leave the laptop open on my office desk while I pretended to crunch numbers in the CRM. In the evenings, I'd dive into research, street art festivals, emerging VR apps, case studies of physical-digital crossovers. I sketched mood boards, recorded voice notes about sensor-triggered projections, and drafted copy that rang with irreverence. You think marketing is a wall of ads? Think again. Picture this: city statues that wink, benches that tweet, and you're the one holding the spark plug. Each time I reread Rowan's proposal, I felt a surge. This was who I was. The creative spark Miranda said I lacked. Rowan's ideas leapt. Mine had sat deflated. Days bled into nights, and I began submitting more entries. Concepts for an AI-driven chatbot that responded to emotion, a micro-location-based scavenger hunt, tied to our brand, a secret speaker event that placed mini speeches on bathroom mirrors. I sent them all under Rowan's alias to different contests: Innovation Marathon, Brand Reimagined Challenge, Millennial Marketing Awards. And Rowan started to get responses. It was a Thursday when the first reply landed. My phone buzzed at my desk in the marketing bullpen. From Innovate Marathon at awards.org. Subject: Rowan Ashford. Finalist notification: Dear Rowan Ashford, congratulations. Your concept for the Living Ads pop-up has been selected as a top 10 finalist. Please submit your detailed deck by next Monday for the judging round. I sat frozen, my heart hammering. I glanced at my screen, my own email address in the tow line, but the name Rowan Ashford in the signature block. My pulse thundered. My life was about to get more complicated and far more interesting. That night, I tiptoed into the conference room after hours, cloaking myself in shadows. On the big screen, I drafted the finalist deck: aluminum frame projections, solar-powered rear projection screens, real-time social wall integration, sponsor tie-ins. The conversation I'd rehearsed with Rowan in my head poured out onto slides with diagrams, mock-ups, budgets, and revenue projections. It felt like a secret I was building into being. Saturday afternoon, I sat in a cafe tapping my tablet. I overheard two young marketers at the next table. Marketer 1: "Have you seen Rowan Ashford's pop-up idea? It was genius, would break the internet." Marketer 2: "Totally. And they're only a startup, right? Rumor is Rowan's under 30 and totally under the radar." I hid a smile behind my cappuccino foam. Rowan was living a life I'd only dreamed of. My secret agent of creativity, blazing trails. Back at home, I opened an anonymous Google form for internal feedback on Rowan's finalist deck, sending the link to trusted friends and former colleagues. The responses were ecstatic. "This will change the game. Where do I sign up? Can we do a flash mob in London?" I laughed, feeling an electric thrill. Monday morning, I walked into Miranda's office, no longer clutching my own passionless drafts, but Rowan's crisp, bold deck. My palms were slick as I knocked. "Come in," she said, not looking up from her computer. I closed the door behind me. "Miranda, I actually need your help." She raised an eyebrow. "Help? With the digital out-of-home campaign?" I slid the tablet across her desk. "The Rowan finalist deck. I was anonymously invited to a pitch for new campaigns. I would value your input before I submit the full proposal." Her eyebrow quirked higher. "Rowan Ashford? That's who we've been benchmarking." "Okay, show me." I pressed play, a looping animation of a city square at sunset, lamp posts flickering live weather data, graphics morphing on building facades. Miranda's steely face softened as she watched. When the mock-ups ended, she exhaled and leaned forward. "This is insane. Way beyond safe pitches. This could be viral." She tapped the margin of a slide. "How fast can we prototype?" I closed my eyes, tasting sweetness. Fast, without asking which we. I meant, she started asking technical questions. Budget, vendor partnerships, timelines. She offered to introduce me to our CFO to discuss cost projections. My chest felt like it would burst. On the way out, I offered her a sober smile. "Thank you. I appreciate your help." She nodded. "This has potential. Let me know if you need anything." I left her office almost dancing, burden lifted. Rowan Ashford had pulled me up from the shadows, and now, with Miranda's backing, could illuminate my real self, Jessica Carter, in bright relief. That evening, I sat at the bar of the Rusty Anchor, the same table where I'd pitched Adrian, holding a glass of red wine and a call time notification for the Innovation Marathon. My phone buzzed, a text from the contest organizer. "Rowan, your final presentation is next Wednesday at 2 p.m. The judges include the CMOs of 3 Fortune 500 brands. Remember to bring prototypes." I tapped out a reply with trembling thumbs. "Thank you. I'll be there." Then I noticed someone sliding into the stool beside me. It was Adrian Ford, the private wealth investor who'd once ruled me not creative enough. He gave me a lopsided grin. "Adrian, you look satisfied." Me surprised. "Adrian, what are you doing here?" "Adrian, I heard rumor of a mystery finalist named Rowan Ashford appearing at the Innovation Marathon. I wanted to see if the hype was real." He waved at my phone. "Planning your pitch." My pulse stuttered. Should I tell him what I'd done? My mind flitted through possibilities. Devastating plot twist, heartfelt confession, cunning bait. I decided on a small smile. "Me could say that." He nodded, settling onto the stool. "Listen, I was wrong about you. Your campaigns have momentum. If you ever need an investor who appreciates risk, let's talk." My chest tightened, not fear, but triumph. Rowan's anonymous victories had turned the tables. Now Adrian, the man who'd once judged me, was offering a lifeline. I lifted my wine glass. "To second chances." He clinked my glass. and new beginnings. That night, I walked home under the warm glow of the streetlights, my shadow long against the pavement. My mind buzzed with possibilities. The innovation marathon, Miranda's backing, Adrian's interest. I opened my apartment door and dropped my bag at my desk. The wall opposite, once cluttered with rejection notes, was now decorated with 3 framed runner-up certificates for smaller contests, each bearing the name Rowan Ashford. I removed them and set them aside, revealing a blank space. I sat at my desk and opened a fresh document, Innovation Marathon Final Pitch, Jessica Carter. I began typing, weaving together every lesson learned, that creativity isn't a gift bestowed by others, but a fire you ignite from within, that sometimes you need to hide behind an alias to find your true voice, that rejection can be the fuel for your greatest triumph. And as the first words formed on the screen, I whispered to the empty room, I am Rowan Ashford. I stared at the blinking cursor on my screen. I am Rowan Ashford, feeling the tremor of a secret poised on the edge of daylight. The hack had worked. Under Rowan's name, I'd broken free of Jessica's cage. But now the curtain was about to rise at the Innovation Marathon Finals, and I would have to decide, stay hidden behind Rowan's mask, or step forward as Jessica Carter, the real author of every daring idea. My alarm buzzed at 6 a.m. The next morning, I'd slept only 3 hours, eyelids heavy with adrenaline. The coffee tasted like hope and fear. I checked my phone, 10 unread messages. Miranda's good luck, Adrian's crush it, and a flood of DMs from industry contacts I'd made as Rowan, wanting last-minute pointers. I pulled on a crisp white blouse and dark jeans, professional but not too polished, and draped my trusty leather jacket over my shoulders. In stride, I rehearsed my opening line, Good afternoon. I'm Jessica Carter, but today I stand before you formally as Rowan Ashford. The taxis honked in my rush-hour scramble. I barely remembered the route, heart pounding so loud the city noise dulled around me. The Innovation Marathon was held in the cavernous atrium of the Civic Tech Center, glass walls flooding the space with autumn light. A dozen booths lined the perimeter, robots, apps, 3D printed prosthetics. In the center, a circular stage awaited the finalists. I found the registration desk. A crisp-sleeved volunteer slid me a lanyard bearing my own name, Rowan Ashford, and an orange stripe indicating finalist. They handed me a tablet, and I scrolled through the schedule. My slot was #7 of 10, at 2:15, enough time to falter if I overthought it. I slipped backstage to meet the other 9 finalists, half as young coders, half seasoned founders. They greeted me with polite nods. At my side, a wiry teen in combat boots and a VR headset muttered about mass tracer blockchain for recycling. A silver-haired woman in a power suit demoed an AI nurse assistant. I wondered if they saw me as just another stealthy underdog, or if they sensed the dual identity under my badge. Moments before my turn, I tucked the tablet into my bag and took a deep breath. The stage manager waved me forward. I climbed the 3 steps and stood under the bright floodlights. The audience, roughly 200 strong, investors, press, innovators, even Miranda in the front row, notebook poised. Hey! I opened my mouth, me calmly. Good afternoon. My name is Jessica Carter, but in this arena, I've competed as Rowan Ashford. When I first began, I was told I lacked creativity. Today, I'm here to show what's possible when you redefine yourself. A hush settled. I clicked the remote. Me introducing Living Ads, a dynamic human-powered outdoor experience that transforms cityscapes into interactive art. Instead of static billboards, we use temporary projection installations triggered by human movement and local events, climate data, public sentiment, even the number of tweets in a hashtag. The screen behind me erupted into animated mock-ups. An empty plaza at dusk, then glowing tendrils of light weaving around passers-by, projecting messages tied to current events. A group of students triggered a living mural quoting a poet. A dog walker passed a lamppost that sprayed a gentle rain of virtual cherry blossoms. Commuters triggered a live ticker pop-up of late-running trains. Our team at Orion X built a proprietary sensor suite, LiDAR and thermal cameras married to sentiment analysis, running on a lightweight edge device no larger than a street lamp controller. It syncs with social media APIs, city open data portals, and weather feeds to deliver contextually relevant visuals in real time. I could see heads nodding. I clicked me. The ROI is in brand engagement metrics. 45% increase in dwell time during pilot runs, 32% boost in sentiment scores for sponsors, 20% uplift in foot traffic for retail partners. Behind the scenes, months of stealth work converged into this moment. I felt Rowan's bold confidence, but I spoke as Jessica, owning every data point, every prototype. Me, we've pilot tested living ads in 3 cities, with 1 million impressions and 0 negative feedback. Today, I ask you to imagine transforming any urban environment, festivals, city squares, storefronts, into a living canvas that responds to us, not the other way around. I stepped back as applause rippled through the audience. Cameras flashed, Miranda beamed. Adrian gave me a thumbs up that made my heart ache with pride. The judges' Q&A was brisk but engaged. A tech journalist quizzed me on data privacy and sensor ethics. I detailed our anonymization protocols. A VC asked about license models and recurring revenue. I outlined per-installation subscription tiers and data analytics upsells. When asked about competition, I described our unique human-first design, the art in the algorithm, that had kept each pilot site feeling bespoke, not templated. After the last question, I clicked off the projector and walked down the steps, my knees trembling. Backstage, I sank onto a black couch as the next finalist began. My phone buzzed, #7 Rowan Ashford, standing ovation, then media crew outside wants quick soundbite. I stepped into the corridor and gave a short on-camera interview. For me, creativity is about connection, building experiences that invite people to wonder and belong. Living ads is just the beginning of a world that sees us as participants, not just audiences. As the day wore on, the other finalists spoke, filled with innovation, passion, polish. It felt like graduating at Hogwarts. Every presentation was magical. Then the judges retreated. For an hour they deliberated in the back. My heart pounded so loud it thumped in my ears. I wandered outside the venue, inhaled the crisp air, and texted Kamal, "Nerves are in orbit," he replied. "You are Rowan, you are unstoppable." I allowed myself a small grin. At 6 p.m., the finals reconvened. The MC stepped forward. "MC, thank you to all 10 finalists. Your work electrified this space." Now the judges have made their decisions. In third place, applause. Third place went to the team with the recycling blockchain. They came up, accepted the award. We cheered. MC in second place, another round of claps, and the AI nurse assistant. They held their trophy aloft. MC and finally our grand prize, the Living Ads platform by Rowan Ashford. My ears rang as everyone pivoted toward me. I rose, legs unsteady, and walked onto the stage. I accepted the crystal-etched trophy, heavy with the weight of proving myself, and stepped to the mic. Me, voice thick. "Thank you. This moment belongs not just to Rowan Ashford, but to every Jessica Carter told she wasn't creative enough. This is for those who keep dreaming in the dark. Thank you for showing me the light." A roar of applause carried me off stage. Backstage, Miranda and Adrian were waiting, cheering louder than anyone. Miranda grabbed me in a bear hug. "Miranda? That was unreal, Jess." "Me, I thank you for believing in Rowan. And in me." Adrian offered a handshake that turned into a warm hug. "I knew you had it in you." "Adrian, let's talk about scaling this. I want to bring Living Ads to Evergreen's ESG fund. We'll make it the new face of sustainable branding." "Me, I'd love that." The next morning, emails flooded in. Press inquiries, partnership requests, investor term sheets. On my desk at Orion, at last my real name appeared on the finalist tablet, Jessica Carter, and on the crane-lifted banner outside the Civic Tech Center. "Congratulations, Jessica Carter, grand prize winner." There was no more Rowan. Rowan had served her purpose. Now it was time for Jessica to shine. At 10 a.m., I met with my marketing team in our tiny bullpen. 3 desks, 2 plants, and 1 whiteboard scrawled with campaign ideas. I held up the trophy. "Me, we just won the innovation marathon. The world now sees us as a creative force. But this isn't just my win, it's ours. Let's channel this momentum into our next project, a citywide launch next quarter, complete with augmented reality tours and a global live feed." Team, yes, let's do it. What's the timeline? I sat down, rolled up my sleeves, and tapped my pen against the whiteboard. Me. First, we need buy-in. Miranda's on board. She helped refine the pitch. Adrian's ready to fund the pilot. Next, production, build 20 more sensor units. Prototype the AR app, secure the initial location. Then marketing, teaser videos, influencer partnerships, local events. By next spring, we'll launch the first living ads city or two. Are you with me? They cheered. I felt a surge of purpose greater than any solitary victory. I closed the deal, assigned tasks, and felt the baton of leadership settle in my hand. That evening, I found my notebook, its pages once empty, filled with messy scrawls under two names: Jessica Carter, Living Ads Phase 1 AR Experience, Sketch Evergreen Pilot Expansion, Press Tour and Keynote, Schedule Rowan Ashford Innovation Marathon Entry, Disguise Gmail plus Pseudonym Motivations and Manifestos. I smiled, turning the page. Underneath, a fresh blank space beckoned, an invitation for new ideas, new aliases, new frontiers. I poured myself a glass of wine, clinked it against the empty chair beside me, and whispered, "Here's to the next surprise." And under the soft glow of my desk lamp, two names merged into one unstoppable creator, ready to rewrite the story, my story again and again.